Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. How about another round of applause for Lori Jones? Well, Lori may to you, but she is very well known in the New Thought Unity community. And she and her partner, Eric Montgomery, are a powerful team of musicians that lead music. And last year they traveled throughout the country and they were able to do concerts and at churches around the country. So they're very sought after, and we're very lucky to have her here today. Lori and I are partners. We partner with Women's Retreat. I offer an annual Women's Retreat, and Lori's my partner in that, because what I find is her music is so uplifting, and that something happens on a soul level when you hear her. And so I'm just, thank you so much for being here. In fact, I'm going to,
and just let them know if they want to take a piece of her home, she'll be selling her CDs.
Yes, her CDs are available back in the room. She has several, and you can follow her on social media. There's a lot of ways to connect with Lori. And one more quick announcement is that Lori and I will be back on April 14. We are going to be doing a very special blended music and message for the service. And then after the service, I'm offering a workshop on my talk, The Power of Conscious Choices. And Lori and I are piloting something new that we're doing as a workshop. So I really hope you'll join us for this. Yes.
Where's it at?
Right here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, right here. Right after the service. There'll be some refreshments. It's a $20 love offering. And you can sign up. There's a sign up sheet in the back of the room. So I hope you'll join us for that. So, and thank you for inviting me back. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. And yes, I appreciated the prayer and the attention to Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday signifies this awareness and consciousness, a deeper preparation and awareness and consciousness. It's the story, the Bible story is Jesus's triumphant entry, his ride into Jerusalem. And so the day before, he raised Lazarus from the dead, and he sent his disciples ahead of him to find a donkey for him to ride on, because he was trying to demonstrate that he is not an earthly king. Even though he said it over and over again, people just didn't listen. But he was trying to demonstrate that he is not a king of this earth. And by entering the city without the pomp and circumstance that normally would happen for an earthly king, he entered in with humility, which is what we do in consciousness. So riding a donkey is a symbol of meekness, and it meant that he was not the king of the people, but the king of our spiritual connection. And so we have that practice. That is our practice to do when we live an authentic life. And that's my talk today, is living an authentic life. It's not one of who we think we want to be, but of allowing ourselves to allow that wholeness, that oneness in who we are. That's our oneness. That's our true authenticity. Brene Brown, author and researcher Brene Brown, offers her definition is that authenticity is the daily practice of letting go who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Isn't that a great definition? Letting go of who we think we're supposed to be, who we think the expectations are from others, and allowing ourselves to just be our real self. And so cultivating authenticity is not about becoming something else, but it's becoming our true connection. And when we as we develop authenticity, we have to let go. We have to let go of the old beliefs. We have to let go of the blocks. We have to let go of anything that is unlike love in order to come through in our true, as our true authentic selves. See, we come into the world open and free, right? And then the world begins to mold us into what we're supposed to be. We start to receive limits, have our shoulds and should nots. And so we know as children we're told, be seen but not heard, right? Do what you're told. Do what I say and not what I do. So already we're being shaped and molded into something the world wants us to be. And when our authentic self is threatened, that's when we start to hide. We wear a mask or put on a persona to hide our vulnerability. I remember in elementary school, we had the opportunity to practice cursive writing. Of course, no one knows what that is today. I think I can talk to this group and you understand or know what it is. They literally do not know what that is. But cursive writing, so I was writing and the teacher came around and she was looking over at everyone and she saw what I was doing and I had gone ahead and she scolded me for going ahead. That I was bad because I'm supposed to stay with the class and not go ahead. And so I felt shame, right? I felt shame. It's not okay to be myself. It's not okay to express myself or to do what I need to do. And so I started to put limits on myself, as we all do, especially as girls, because we're told so many limits as girls. And the ones I said before and many more, to be polite, to think of others, to share. I had a sister that was 2 years younger than me, and I had to share everything. And boy, did I not like that. So we are told all these limitations that we take on as who we are. So when we don't, there's 3 points. When we don't allow ourselves and when we hide our authentic self, 3 things happen. We don't let ourselves be real. We keep those parts hidden that really deserve to shine. So sometimes there's both positive and negative in not letting our authentic self show at some point. And some reasons might be to hide fear or anxiety, to hide from feeling vulnerable. There may be some times that it's appropriate to do that. But if we do it too long, if we do it persistently, that's when we hide our true selves. We also put on a persona maybe when we're working, or put on a persona to family that we want to appear confident, or that I'm fine, or I'm in charge. Again, it may be appropriate at the time, but if we continue that persona, it continues to wear on our authenticity. And we start to hide. When we're hiding, we're in that place of the space of always guessing where the next threat is coming from, because we're not in our truth and in our power. So I used to have a neighbor, and her husband was a big guy, and he had a big voice. And if he didn't like something, he'd let you know about it. Do you know people like that? They kind of let you know about it. He was a little intimidating for me. But I watched him. If he was driving and he didn't like what somebody was doing, he was one of those people who would roll down the window and yell at the guy. And so his energy felt threatening. And one day my neighbor told me that her husband was up for a promotion, but he turned it down. And he turned it down because he had so much performance anxiety. And that he didn't even want to try to go for this promotion. And I was so shocked because he appeared in control all the time. He appeared to have his life together. But what happens sometimes when we appear that way is we're hiding something. He was so afraid inside, he needed that persona. He used that persona to be that in the world because he was afraid of not being enough. He put on the persona of don't mess with me. So I'm aware now when I come across people that are in that state, that there's something else going on. Or if there's someone that is so adamant about something or so persistent about something, what else is going on behind it? So the second one, so the first one is when we don't let ourselves be real, we hide. The second one, it's exhausting to not be who you are, right? It's exhausting. Our light is meant to be revealed, not concealed. Our light is meant to be revealed out in the world. We're meant to let our light shine. And it takes a toll on us, but we hide because at some level, we believe that we're not acceptable the way we are. And so, but being authentic is the only way of restoring our own self-worth and respect. I remember a time where I was going through a breakup, and I ended a 10-year relationship, and I had a lot of emotions about it, and I would wake up kind of a mess. But I have the belief that I couldn't let anybody see that. So I would somehow gather myself up, and I convinced myself that I could act my way through it. And so I would put on my happy face, and I would go to work and do my work, and then at lunch, I would go sit in my car and cry. But that was what I believed I needed to do. I didn't want anyone to see me weak or to see me cry. And that's what we tend to do. Now, there's a balance between being our authentic selves and verbal diarrhea, right? Have you known someone who just wants to tell you everything all at once? There's those of us, I consider myself kind of an introvert, those of us who hide and don't speak their truth, and then those that just want to tell you everything in the shortest time possible. So there's a balance there that when it's appropriate for us to share is to find a counselor, a minister, a trusted friend that we can talk to and say, here's what's going on, here's what I'm dealing with. When we do that, that's what's necessary. It's necessary for us to share that and do that, but not to share it with the woman at the Nordstrom makeup counter, right? She's there to show you a shade of liquid makeup, not hear your life story. So that when we find that balance, again, that's being our authentic self. So then when someone says, how are you? Then I can say, I'm going through some challenges, but I'm okay. Or I've had a rough time, but I'm moving through the other side. So we can share in a context that is appropriate to receive. And the third one, the risk we face in being our authentic self is we worry about what other people think. And this is a big one for women. We worry about what other people think of us. And you know what? They're going to think whatever they want to think. You and I can't control that. There's nothing we can do about that. We're trained to judge ourselves and worry about what is the other person thinking. In my book, Conscious Choices, I shared the story when I was a teenager with braces. I felt I was just repulsive. Where a teenager, actually, let's face it, a teenager already thinks they're out of the norm. But I just felt with these braces, I looked repulsive, and who would want to be around me? And I met someone who was my new friend, and I told her, "You're going to like me better in 2 weeks because I'm going to get my braces on." Because I was just certain that she was as repulsed as I was looking in the mirror. And that's what we're believing on the inside. And so when we stop worrying about what other people think, we truly be ourselves and allow our light to shine. It's okay to feel our feelings, to feel them deeply. We don't have to explain them, but we find a way that serves us to do that. And so what I found over the years is other people are often too busy to think about what we're going through. They might observe us, but they're way too busy. And then we worry about, well, what did they think? They were thinking about what was going on with them. That's right. So in Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, I'm a big fan of hers, and I love this book, The Gift of Imperfection. She has 3 points for wholehearted living, and she defines wholehearted living is about engaging our lives from a place of worthiness. It means cultivating courage, compassion, and connection. She says it's to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done, no matter how much is left undone, I am enough. And to go to bed at night thinking, yes, I am perfect, I am imperfect and vulnerable and sometimes afraid, but that doesn't change the truth that I am also brave and worthy of love and belonging. So the 3 gifts are courage, compassion, and connection. And the first one, courage, requires us to let go of what other people think. And over time, that definition has changed. Today, it's more synonymous with being heroic when we have courage. And we certainly need heroes in our world today. But courage also means to speak openly and honestly about who we are and what we're feeling. What we're feeling about ourselves and about our experiences, that demonstrates courage. Our courage to face our fears, our courage to speak our truth. Brené says, ordinary courage is about putting our vulnerability on the line. In today's world, that's pretty extraordinary. So when we're in spiritual community, we are doing courageous work. Every time we take a class, every time we attend a lecture, or do our spiritual practice, or pray our prayers, or stand up and speak the truth about what's going on. That is amazing courage. And how wonderful that we get to practice that. Every time we step out, we take a chance, we change behavior, we are stepping out in courage. And the second gift is compassion. The heart of compassion is acceptance. And the more we accept ourselves, the more we can accept others. Now, it may be difficult to accept others when they're taking advantage of us or we feel like we've been hurt. But if we really want to practice compassion, research shows that we start by setting our own boundaries. And we hold people accountable for their behavior. Compassion, Brené says, compassion is not the relationship between the healer and the wounded, but it's the relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness can we know that about someone else and what they're going through. When we have compassion for ourselves, we have compassion for others. Because so often we face shame. Shame is, I am bad. Guilt is, I did something wrong or I did something bad. Shame is about who we are. Guilt is about our behaviors. When we can have compassion for ourselves, when we feel shame, we've lifted our energy. Shame is at a very low vibration, but forgiveness, recognition, and love raises our vibration. And the third point is connection. Renee identifies connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When they give and receive without judgment, and when they derive strength from relationships. So in today's world, we're confused about being connected. Just because we're plugged into technology does not mean we're connected. Very often, we're at home, alone, isolated, but we think we're connected. How many times have you walked into a restaurant to see a family with everyone on their phones? Parents on their phones, the kids playing their games. There's no connection there. There's no connection. And one of the cultural barriers we have is that we believe we have to go it alone. We somehow came to equate success with not needing anyone. I did it myself. And many of us are willing to lend a helping hand, but reluctant to reach out for help when we need it. It's as if we divided the world into those who offer help and those who need help. But in truth, we're both. We're both. And so to pay attention to that, to be able to put out a helping hand, but to also be willing to receive. Renee says, until we can receive with an open heart, we never really giving with an open heart. We have to be willing to receive as well. And when we attach judgment to receiving help, we're knowingly or unknowingly attaching judgment to giving help. So, courage, compassion, and connection are the three gifts. And she says the wholehearted journey is not the path of least resistance. It's the path of consciousness and choice. The willingness to tell our stories, to feel the pain of others, to stay genuinely connected in a disconnected world. When we are authentic in ourselves, we tend to see that in others. We celebrate differences, not divide. We embrace each other's challenges. To practice courage, compassion, and connection is to look at life and the people around us and say, I hear you, I see you, I appreciate you, and I know who you are. So let's take this into meditation. So take a breath and moving into that silent space. Imagine that at the very center of your heart, there is a light, a burning, a speck of gold. This is the Christ. This is the aspect of the self living between your breasts at the center of your chest. And it is alive, it is well, and it is your own consciousness. In this place, in this heart space, begin to activate the spark, this light, and bring it into alignment with itself as all creation. Ask the heart center now to begin to rise in light. Feel the flame become aligned at a higher frequency. Feel the warmth at the heart and the radiating heat coming from the light of the heart center. When you feel this, acknowledge it, thank it, go into relationship. Your own knowing exists in this place. This heat in the heart is the Christ within you. And the heat in the heart that you are beginning to experience is your own light and your own interrelationship with Christ. Allow this light to begin to feel you, to become you. Let it come. Receive it. Allow it. Allow yourself to be lined and raised into this frequency. Now you've activated this light. It is yours always. Remember it, savor it, acknowledge it. And so let us pray. I give thanks for this opportunity to be in the one presence and the one power in this infinite place of love and light, grace and freedom. I give thanks for knowing that this light that shines within my heart is the true embodiment of who I am as the Christ. And so I know for each one of us that we go out this day in that light, in that freedom, in that grace, that we take the light of this day, we take the light of the heart, we take the light of love, and we share it with all that we meet. I know that we are blessed wherever we go. This light shines around us and through us and as us. And how grateful I am to be in a spiritual community this day, to embrace this light and love, to embrace all that we share together. I give thanks for this presence, for this knowing, for this gift, for all the gifts of who we each are as our authentic selves. I give thanks with a grateful heart. I release this word, and together we affirm, and so it is.